Hey everybody, this is Parshas Chaya Sara, and unfortunately we're informed at the beginning of the Parsha that Sara dies. And the verse tells us, Vayu Chaya Sara, this was the life of Sara, Mea Shana, it was 100 years, Ve'esrim Shana, and it was 20 years, Ve'sheva Shanim, and 7 years. And then it repeats and ends off, Shnei Chaya Sara, and these are the years of Sara. And Rashi wants to know, why do you have to repeat the phrase Shnei Chaya Sara? Or the phrase Chaya Sara, this is the life of Sara. And Rashi says, Kulan Shavin Litova. You know why? Because all 127 years were all equal Litova in good. Now you got to be, banging your head and saying, are you kidding me? She was barren till she was 90. She was traveling around with Avram. She was kidnapped twice. Are you telling Kulan Shavin? It's true. She became famous. Avram became this prince. And it's true. They became wealthy. And it's true. Miraculously, she had a child at 90 years old. But Kulan Shavin Litova? So Rabbi Norman Lamb quotes someone whose name was Rabbi Aaron Levin. He was the Regisseur Rav. He was a great scholar, preacher, and he was also a senator in the Polish parliament. I looked him up. He's worth looking up. Fascinating personality. And he says the following. He said, Sara was the example of what's called Shtavut HaNefesh, which basically means she had a very calm soul, meaning that whatever came her way, she was able to keep an equilibrium. She didn't get too high with the highs and too low with the lows. She didn't overly mourn, but she didn't overly celebrate. That whatever came her way, Kulan Shavin Litova, she understood that it came from her Creator, and therefore it had to be good. Doesn't mean she understood it, but that's how she reacted. And I think about life in general. We have our ups and our downs, our simchas, and we have our avelut, we have our mourning. And sometimes, I know for myself, I can party really hard and get high with the highs and then get depressed with the lows. And what Sarah's teaching us is it all comes from Hashem, and we need to find that balance, not, again, to go to the extremes. I met a student today who has graduated many years ago, and I said, what are you up to in life? And she said, well, I made Aliyah, and I was going to start my national service, but my mother got sick, and her care fell to my brother and sister, and I didn't feel right about that. So I decided to come back to the States. I enrolled in college, and she's going to be okay, and I'll do my national service in a year or two. And I thought to myself, wow, that you just walked into my office. You are the perfect example of someone who keeps it at an equilibrium. When life throws you lemons, you make lemonade. And Sara is that person. And that's what Rashi's telling us. Kulan Shavin Litova, that what comes our way, we have to try to maybe use Sara as that example, that it's all from the same good source. To keep it easy, level. And I think that's a challenge. It's a challenge for me. And it's a challenge for all of us. And I'd love to know, how do you keep your life in that balance and you don't go to the extremes? Anyway, Shabbat Shalom. If you like what you hear, please pass it on. And again, as always, thanks for listening.